Hey everybody, IntoWeapons back again with you. Got a pretty cool machine to share with you today. My cousin Jesse owns Wisconsin Wastewood Recycling out here in Suamico, Wisconsin, and he's got this 1999 Rotochopper MC 156, essentially a wood grinder. And he replaced the engine in it, so it's a little bit bigger than normally what it came with. It's got a KT Cummins 19 liter 6-cylinder. It's running about 700 horsepower. It runs at about 1800 RPM, I believe he had said. He only runs wood through this thing. That's what it's really made for, except when a piece of steel finds its way through. And I'll show you guys some examples of the steel that gets sucked through this thing. It's pretty impressive what this machine can do. It's certainly nothing he likes to have done because it really tears up the machine pretty good. As you can imagine, running a machine like this, and you'll see some of the different angles of it and running at full speed and kind of sucking things through and having a hard time chugging and stuff like that. You can imagine if a chunk of steel gets in there or anything else, you can have a lot of pressure that's being put on that motor and the hydraulic system that's running it, and it can blow out. And actually recently had that happen. He had a turbo blowout on him, and we got the flywheel over here as an example, but he had mentioned that he had noticed that something was wrong with the sound going, and then all of a sudden a big largest black plume of smoke you've ever seen before, followed by a huge white plume after you kind of shut it down, and blew out his turbo again. Like I mentioned, took about a week to get it back up and running, but that's where we're at today. He's got it running, and I'll give you an idea of that flywheel over here real quick, because that thing's pretty cool. He said it's lucky it didn't do much more damage than what he originally thought it would do, because I guess this is the flywheel that kind of blows out when the turbo goes, and if it's sucked into the engine itself, it can end up in those pistons and really do a whole lot of damage, kind of wreck your whole motor. But I mean, you can see here how much pressure is actually taking to wipe something like that out. So luckily only a couple. Here's the original motor out of the grinder, and I guess the crank bearing locked up on her and she's locked tight. It's a pretty decent sized motor though. That KT Cummins he's got in there is a pretty nice motor as well, though. So this is the old teeth that my cousins chewed through over the years. They're covered in carbide and fairly expensive per piece, but not really worth a whole lot when they're chewed up. But you can see here kind of the damage that's done to these guys before he kind of replaces them. And we'll show you a glimpse kind of inside where the current teeth are, and you can kind of see the difference between them. Pretty neat though. So here's an example, guys, of what this machine is actually capable on steel. This is, I would imagine, a 1/4-inch steel, and you can see it was flat at one time before it went through the machine, and as you can see now, that thing is around like a cylinder, half cylinder here. Close up here, you can just kind of see the tear marks in that thing, the tooth marks. Pretty impressive. Just twisted it right around into a half cylinder. So that's what that machine can do once it hits steel. Here's all the steel that comes through and gets pulled out of the wood after it gets ground up. He's got a pile, I'll put a shot in here of just essentially plain drain off of metal and sawdust over there that's 10, maybe 15 feet high. And as you can see here, I'll get a little bit closer up. And it shows you that one hook that was in there that came out. It chews it up pretty good. We'll take a look at some examples of stuff that he kept around the shop. He has a prize that he did win out of this machine one time, and he kept that at home. Unfortunately, he forgot to bring it along as an example of what this machine can do, but he said it was pretty darn impressive. But here's that big chunk of metal that my cousin stopped the machine on. It was pretty hot. There's that hook piece. It's amazing construction it can do, though, to a piece of metal. And then it's like I said, it pulls it out of there, and what you're looking at right there is the magnet that pulls it out and shoots it down this hopper. And then, like I mentioned, he's got that big sawdust pile over there, which I did some close-ups of.